Oh, hi. It's Jonathan, and this is it's already the sixth edition of my video journal live back in Amsterdam. Last time you heard from me, if you saw the fifth edition, I was crossing into the Czech Republic for the first time ever and on the train. And now I'm back at my flat in Amsterdam, and I want to talk to you a little bit about my recent trips to Prague and to Antwerp, or Antwerpen as they call it there. I'm currently wearing this hat not because it's cold, because I wanted to show you the very cool soccer team, which from Berlin, whose hat I bought. They play in Olympic Stadium and apparently are one of the worst teams in the entire country. They even got downgraded from the premier level to the one below that. But I proudly support them now, at least for the next few weeks, until I go to my first Ajax match, which is Amsterdam's team, which is a big deal here. I'd really love to go to a football game in Europe sometime soon. Okay, so let's see. Prague. Prague, definitely beautiful. There's no question about it. Fortunately, most of the city was spared from the horrors of World War II in terms of the infrastructure. Obviously, not in terms of the Holocaust, etc. But very interesting city, a lot of history. Just walking around, I had a really, what I think of as a really good idea for a project that I'm going to work on. I wrote it down here. Um, and if all goes well, I will be able to tell you guys about it in the coming months. But right now, I'm keeping it under wraps until I can really get working at it. More about Prague. There are a gosh darn lot of tourists there. A lot of Americans, a lot of Russians. All signs, a lot of tourist signs are in Czech, English, and Russian. And I think uh, it'll be interesting to see how tourism plays out there because for the most part, most parts of the city aren't overly affected, but that downtown, you just can't. I mean, this is March. It was relatively chilly, and they were just out and about. More so probably than almost any other city I've seen for such a large area. It's a very big city too. I didn't expect it to be quite as big as it was. Um, Both the downtown, the central old area, and the rest of it too. It took me it was pretty big. It was really neat going to the cemetery. I have some photos up on Facebook and seeing. One of the things that's really interesting about the city is how many Germans used to live in the city. Obviously, the relationship between the Czech Republic and Germany is pretty complicated. But one thing that I didn't know is that pretty much all the Germans um, living in the Czech Republic or Czechoslovakia after World War II were forced to evacuate and move back to not back to Germany, but even if their families lived there for centuries, forced to move out of the Czech Republic. Hitler justified his or um, rationalized his decision to invade Czechoslovakia because a lot of the areas in Sudetenland, which he called it, in western Czechoslovakia, were sometimes 90% German ethnicity. So it's a really fascinating bit of history that I'm interested in reading more of. My German friend was the one who actually alerted me to the fact that his grandmother had lived in the Czech Republic and was forcibly moved in the 40s. But anyway, it was really fun. Prague singing karaoke is always a treat for me. Maybe not for everybody else, but I got down to Copacabana. They didn't have um, Shoop by Salt and Peppa, so unfortunately the crowd of uh, Americans, college students, and Czech dudes were not given that little treat from me. But they did get Copacabana, and there were these two Russian women who were just amazing. They were singing Beyonce, and I can't remember all they were singing. I think that last beer that I had erased some of the finer points of the night. But yeah, they were really fun to watch. Um, so then I came back here for like 24 hours, and then I went on a 48-hour trip to Antwerp, which is a really neat city. I was very pleasantly surprised. I had no idea what to expect, but just walking around the city, there was something cool to see at every turn. Um, just some really cool little courtyards and squares and cafes. There were a lot of tourists, but not quite as many as in Prague, which was nice. They all speak Dutch there. It's in the Flemish part of Belgium, um, and there's obviously a French influence as well. But my next trip to Belgium will probably be to Brussels, Bruges, some of the French areas. Um, but yeah, really cool, pretty city. We when we came into town, it was this Sabbath, and there was just a lot of Hasids walking around. Apparently, Antwerp has one of the largest Jewish populations in all of Europe, Western Europe, in particular, quite a few Orthodox. And I'm dying to get one of those brown furry hats, but I think it's probably inappropriate to wear them, but they're so cool. Anyway, probably not going to do it, but I'm really, really fascinated by those hats. It'd be really nice to have an excuse to wear it for some event. I don't know. Also, the cool thing about Antwerp for me, because I like to keep track of these things, is that I've now been to more than half of the cities that have hosted the Summer Olympics. I believe I've been to 12 out of the 22. I still have Athens, Moscow, London, Helsinki, Melbourne, Sydney, Tokyo, Seoul, Beijing, and Munich to go. Um, but hopefully I'll get to Munich sometime this year, maybe London. I mean, I've been to Heathrow, but I don't count that. Same as I don't count being to Idaho, because I had a layover in Boise Airport. It's not really the same as having been. Anyway, so 12 out of 22 Olympic cities. The other ones should be a lot of fun. I'll definitely try to get to, I think, all of them. Speaking of Tokyo, this the earthquake and tsunami, and the continuing disaster going on there has been really tough. My friends and colleagues who were from there, who live there, my heart goes out to them and everybody in Japan. It's pretty much incomprehensible what happened and what's going to continue to happen. And just, you know, I can't really say anything else that anybody hasn't said, but it's very rough. So this week I'm going to be getting back to work, finally working on a lot more IFLA stuff and preparing for the arrival of my first guest, my friend Arlie from Chicago, with whom I'm going to take another trip in Europe with. Anyway, so thanks for watching and best wishes to everyone. And I miss you Chicago people a lot. All right, talk to you.